Welcome to the Charles Cook Podcast. The focus of this podcast is local and state issues here in Tennessee, in the state of Tennessee. You can follow my podcast on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, TuneIn, Alexa. Just search Charles Cook Podcast. You can also find me on Rumble at Charles Cook 52, or you can search Charles Cook Podcast on there as well. Just like and subscribe on those platforms, and you'll get notified when I upload new content. The best place to find those links is on my podcast webpage at Charles Cook Podcast at buzzsprout.com. Let me say that again, Charles Cook Podcast.buzzsprout.com. And there's a link there that just click on the heart icon on the page, and you can donate there to support my podcast. And if you would like to send me some information or maybe join the podcast, just email me at charlescookpodcast@gmail.com. And today, my guest is Chesney Crawford. She's a homeschool mom, and so I wanted to do a podcast on homeschooling to help get information out to the people that may be looking for that for whatever reason. They want to get their kids out of public school. So I asked Chesney to join me today and talk about some of those issues. So Chesney, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, great. Thank you for joining us. And so my question for you would be, first of all, do you have anything you'd like to say before we get into the questions?
I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited to tell you all the things about homeschooling and answer any questions that you've got. I'm excited.
Okay, great. Okay, so what do you tell parents that are concerned about their child's education?
For people who are concerned about their child's education, I would say you're a good parent. The fact that you take the time to notice and can discern the good from the bad, and that you are concerned about it, speaks volumes to your parenting. So congratulations and good job to you.
Okay, good deal. Where can parents go for help or info on homeschooling?
So there are regulations based on where you are, and you can find those state by state at hslda.org. The state requirements for Tennessee can be found on there. Your options as far as public school versus private or homeschool are all on there, and that spells everything out for you step by step.
Okay, great. So anything that they want to learn for the guidelines for the state of Tennessee, they can find on there. Correct?
Yes. Anything you need to know.
Okay. I think there she is. She's popped back on again. So
Anything that you need to know as far as state requirements and things like that, you can find on that website.
good deal. So what about online schools? I've had a conversation earlier this week with a gentleman that said that he was sending him and his wife are sending their daughter, their child, through online public school, and they're getting the same deal with some of the issues that's going on in public, just sending them to a public school. What do you know about, or what have you heard about online schools?
I know there are several different options. I know that there is a free public education online. However, it is still the same curriculum you would get at a public school. you're really just taking the aspect out of it that you would normally have in a public school setting, but you're still getting that curriculum
Okay,
with your online program.
yeah. And I'd talked to a lady before about, she said she was sending her kids through an academy that was based in Missouri, and it was costing her like $79 a month. I don't know if that was per child or all together or what, but it was like 80, 79,
Mm-hmm.
$80 a month. So just be aware. My advice to people with that would be aware, make sure you're understanding what they're getting themselves, what you're getting online, what kind of curriculum you're getting, and look at it really good before you sign up for it and pay for
Mm-hmm.
it.
Absolutely. Um,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Uh, I was just going to ask the next question.
I think no, you're fine. I think the importance is still there, whether you choose online or just your normal textbooks. I think it's important to spend some really, really good time vetting your curriculum. There is tons and tons and tons available, and you really want to know what you're getting yourself into before you take that jump. So, online or not, whatever you choose, make sure you spend the time to really understand what you're going to be telling your children.
Cool. Um, so what does it cost to homeschool? I know a lot of parents may be looking at that. Well, if it's going to cost me more than what I'm already sending my kids to public school, what's it going to cost me?
I think it's a huge misconception that it has to be expensive. I think it's more prevalent now. Homeschooling is more prevalent than it's ever been, and so we have more resources available than we've ever had. There are tons of good quality curriculum online that you can download, print at home, do online. I don't know. There's just the options are endless, and it's good quality stuff. You do not have to break the bank to do it.
Okay, good deal. And I know the number one issue that you probably hear from a lot of moms or dads, parents is, do they have to quit their job to be able to do this?
No, you do not have to quit your job. Um, you know, when you take out all the extra things that public school gives, they're really not getting that whole school day full of content. And so when you take that time away, they're only getting a couple of hours of true um, academic work. So to think that you have to spend each day from daylight to dark doing schoolwork is absolutely ridiculous. You do not have to do that. And you can still have a life outside of your home and you still can work.
Great. Also, um, is there material geared towards certain faith groups? So let's say, like, if I wanted my child to be able to study um, Christianity, in a Baptist faith base, versus Catholic or Methodist or whatever. Is there any material geared towards that?
Um, we use a Christian based curriculum. We have a Bible curriculum. We have actually all of our subjects are um, compiled in a Christian based black box curriculum. So that is an option. I don't know about the others. I would assume that they have options. We just don't need those, so I haven't looked. But yes, in our Bible, we have Bible curriculum. It acts as we use that as any other subject, math, English, reading, whatever, and Bible. Bible is just as important as anything else.
Okay, great. Um, so what did you learn the most after you started homeschooling? What was the biggest change for you and everything?
I think I'm still a work in progress. I'm still in some ways very public school minded. But the biggest thing is that I think we don't give our kids enough credit. I think they are very much capable, more capable than we give them credit for. Uh, and we put them kind of in a box and we expect them to work inside that box. But when you take that away and let them kind of figure things out on their own and work a way that makes the most sense to them, and learn about things that interest them, it's um, it's amazing to see just how capable they are of doing things that we just don't put enough emphasis on.
Okay, good. Um, so let's see. I think that was the last of my written questions. So, what else? Anything else that we're missing that you think parents are to know uh, before they look at this, or another reason why they should go to it? What would you say to those parents?
Um, I would say it's a big decision, and I would spend some really good quality family time in prayer about it before I decided to do anything. Um, and a lot of the time, I've talked to several parents lately who just don't feel equipped. They see what they're being taught in public school and they think there's no way they could teach their children that at home. And I think God gives us our I feel like if anybody is equipped to teach your children, it's you. Nobody knows your children better than you. And so God gives you these children and entrusts you with them. And maybe you don't feel equipped. Maybe you don't feel like you have all the answers, but you don't have to. You don't have to know all the answers. And if you're truly relying on the Lord, He's going to equip you and you can learn together. It's okay.
Great. Um, yeah, teachers at school, they're going through what the curriculum is, and they may learn your child a little more before the end of the school year, but you know your child better than anybody. Um,
Mhm.
so I asked you this before. What's a typical school day like for you as a homeschool? I'm sure other parents are different, but just a kind of a glance into what a
Sure.
typical school day looks like for you.
Okay. So I have a 7 and a 5-year old who are technically doing school. The baby is kind of bouncing back and forth between the two and causing his own havoc. um, so we try to do as many subjects together as we can. So the content's the same, but whatever projects or work that they do is going to be differentiated based on their levels. So we always do Bible together, we always do science together, and we always do history together. Those are things that we can break down and make sure that everybody understands, but we can be as a group. And then typically one will go do chores. They have chore charts. They know exactly what's expected of them every day. And so while one's doing chores, the other works on math and reading, which is usually a little more intensive as far as my attention. While the other's doing work and then vice versa. Typically, based, according to attention spans and quality of sleep the night before, we're usually done by 12:30, and then we can spend the rest of the afternoon um, doing different things.
Cool. So you get to moving instead of having to do all this other stuff. And so I guess it really works out better for your time. So that's something to think about when people say, I don't really have the time. You say, actually, you can focus on to it, get into it, get done with it, and move on. Um,
Mhm.
I know as somebody who's worked, you know, 35 years, um, my question is, people have to basically, parents have to basically schedule their summer vacations and stuff around, um, the kids being in and out of school. How does that? I guess that's really not something that affects homeschoolers. Am I correct or what?
Repeat that for me.
Okay. Basically, the parents happen to work their uh, summer vacations around public schools, uh, school years and stuff. How does that affect homeschooling? Is that really an issue for homeschoolers?
Um, it can be an issue. um, we are still required to do the 180 days that public school kids are required to have. But that can look a lot of different ways. We, as a family, have decided to homeschool year round, but our summer school doesn't look like it does in winter. We do a lot of gardening, a lot of outside things in the summer that obviously we can't do in the winter. We do a lot of the life skills that you wouldn't necessarily learn in a public school. We try to really put an emphasis on those because they're gonna have to know how to do those things,
Right.
and that goes towards our school. That's what we think is important.
Yeah. It's one thing that I definitely made sure I did is they wasn't happy about it, but me and my boys done a lot of gardening, in the last 6, 7 years. So I wanted them to learn that. You know, you
Yeah.
may not always be able to go to the grocery store and get your food. So I think that's a good,
Hmm.
something good that they need to
Hmm.
learn as well. And they don't teach it in public school. So anyway,
Right.
all right. Anything else that you'd like to add before we end this video?
Well, I would just like to say that I really appreciate the time that you've taken to.
You're welcome. I think we've dropped you again there, Will. you'll come back in.
Okay. So I would just like to say thank you for taking the time to learn more about the homeschooling journey. I don't have all the answers, and we definitely don't do everything just right. We're still learning ourselves, but we're thankful that we're blessed enough to be able to do this, and we take it very seriously, but we're trying our best to have fun with it along the way. I would also like to mention that I do periodically have homeschool workshops for people who may be on the fence about the commitment, or maybe just want to learn more.
Okay, Chesney, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, it cut you off about when you started to say learning more about your homeschool workshop, about people wanting to learn more. Can you pick
Okay.
up there?
Yes, I can. So if anybody else is interested in that, um, we are having another workshop on December 31st. That will be at Hilltop Baptist Church in the Fellowship Hall from 9 to 11 a.m. And that's in Newport, Tennessee.
Okay.
We really are just going to talk about the basics and things like that.
Great. Great. So that's Hilltop Baptist Church in Newport, Tennessee. Yeah, I think she said yes. We're having some issues tonight, but that's okay. As long it's not about other things, it's about sharing good information, and I think that's Chesney has done that tonight. So,
Yes.
Are you still there? There she is. So,
So sorry.
no, you're fine. Hey, you can't. This is life. Just some of the things that you can't control. And if you watch any interviews on TV or listen to interviews on the radio, they lose people as well, and they go in and out. So it's part of it. And but anyway, so I will end the recording here. Please stay on the Zoom call, and we'll talk after I end this, if you don't mind. And with that, I say thank you to everyone. Thank you for joining us. Use this information. If you know some people who are looking into homeschooling, please share this video with them and help them maybe make the decision to guide them in the way they need to go that works best for them. And I'm sure you heard Chesney say they're having a workshop December 31st. What time was that?
That's from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Hilltop Baptist Church in Newport, Tennessee. So if you're looking to get into that, you got more questions, I'm sure that it would be a great resource and a time to find out more information. So with that, thank you for joining us, and please share this information. Have a great day and have a Merry Christmas. Anything you want to say?
Merry Christmas.
Bye bye.